Greetings everyone from Privacy Quest Village. We're finally at our 5th week and only 2 weeks left to go in the Privacy Quest Village Festival. And this week we have an amazing fireside chat with a privacy hero of mine, Kim Wuyts. And Kim, thank you so much for being here. Your work has inspired me, and in my privacy engineering journey, your work and like LINDDUN taxonomy, the privacy threat modeling in general was like a cornerstone of my learning journey. So you were there, and finally I had the chance to meet and even collaborate with you on this new project. And once again, I'm really honored that we have you as a guest. And we also have our organization committee here. Thank you, Hansa, Eray, and Mejit for all your contributions and making this festival a reality. Today we have a privacy threat modeling quest. This is the collaboration we did with Kim. And basically, it walks you through the basic concepts around how to do a threat modeling in general. And then we move deeper into Kim's work around privacy threat modeling. And I'm really looking forward to solving all those puzzles with you today. Kim, can I ask you kindly to introduce yourself and like, how did you get into privacy threat modeling, and like, how was the LINDDUN experience? Can you walk us through?
Okay, sure. So yeah, I'm Kim Wuyts. I am a privacy engineering expert. I have been working in security and privacy for more than 15 years now. Currently, I am a manager cyber and privacy at PwC in Belgium. But before that, for a really long time, I was a researcher at KU Leuven, University in Belgium, where I basically led the development and extension of LINDDUN, a privacy threat modeling framework. So I'm really excited that you have incorporated this in the quest. So how did I get into privacy threat modeling? I actually started as a security researcher, and in one of the projects, we were asked to do a security assessment. So we started looking at Stride, implementing that. And our privacy colleagues were looking over our shoulder and going like, oh my God, there's a method to do that. We don't know how to actually start doing this for privacy. So that's when light bulbs went on, and we were like, okay, let's join forces. And we started from Stride as a foundation, and then extended that, integrated privacy in there. And then that's back in 2010. And then we have extended that. After that, added LINDDUN Go as a kind of a lean approach to get started, gamified version. And I'm actually really excited to see Abigail here, because she was one of the first people, I think, who picked up LINDDUN Go. So it's really cool that that's like, it's all coming together here.
That was a real good fun fact, by the way. I didn't know that. Congratulations, Abigail. And yeah, Kim, 2010, it's like amazing, by the way. Like asking those questions early on and like creating that framework, and like even big tech is using it, as far as I know, for like years now. And thank you for like, yeah, I think that's a great give back to the whole privacy community. So yeah, please do continue.
What do I need to continue about? Yeah, so yeah, the last couple of years I have been mainly focusing on talking with industry, raising awareness, trying to figure out what are like the requirements, let's say. So that's also what inspired us to create LINDDUN Go in 2020, because there was a need to make it more understandable, I guess. And well, it's really interesting to get all this feedback, as you say, from small companies, but also from big tech that have been applying LINDDUN and are excited about privacy threat modeling. So it's really cool, and now you're implementing it too. So that's awesome.
Thank you so much. And I think LINDDUN Go cards, yeah, I think that's a really creative way, and like really make it more accessible, because like when we met you, like remember, I was like frustrated because it was too complex, especially for like let's say legal folks like us. And I was like really having trouble, and I revisited LINDDUN like over the years, or like 5 years, in like different phases, and each of them I said, all right, this means that, this means that. And hopefully with collaborating with you on the quest, I have a pretty nice picture around like how to assess it. And everyone, now I'm going to share my screen and show you the privacy quest. platform and the puzzles we created with Kim. And just please bear with me for a second.
Yeah, I need to give Merit all the credit here. We had a couple of chats, but it's all his earning. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Kim. Like I wrote this on the post as well, and you were one of the first, not one of, you were the first privacy engineer, a veteran privacy engineer who I had the chance to collaborate. So like that's really important for me, and yeah, thank you so much for having this. So if for those who never experienced the product before, this is the quest page, and here you could find all these privacy quests, and think of them as like privacy labs, and each of them in bite-sized chunks give you some core privacy engineering concepts in a fun and dark, in some certain ways, stories and lore. So today we're going to do the privacy threat modeling quest we did with Kim, and basically we will go over the fundamentals of threat modeling. How do we conceptualize them and model the systems that we are working on? Who might attack us, and like how do we understand the attack trees or the ways that our systems can be compromised? And then we will move more into the LINDDUN and the more threat modeling side, and we touch upon like what are the privacy risks and harms on the based scenario, and then how can we mitigate these using certain privacy enhancing or enabling technologies, let's call it. And there we used like a whistleblowing platform to create the data flow diagrams and really reflect some real life scenarios to you as well. So I'm going to admit our participants. So Kim, I will start just like briefly introduce it. And so the story is about a cyber rights activist robot, and her name is Gaia, and she's attending this fundraising event, a VIP event, a gala, and we, as the player in the story, have been approached by Gaia's security company to do a threat modeling on the gala and save Gaia's life, or like circuits. I don't know how to put that. But basically here we are introduced to the story. And then the first puzzle is like a really interesting and like a onboarding one, let's call it. And here we want the player to understand how to model and like understand what they are working on. And here we are provided by the security company with a map of the venue and like where are the exits or like intro points that an attacker might infiltrate our event. So yeah. Their question for us, Kim, is like, which one is the most vulnerable? But something is missing, right? So can you like walk us through what was your idea?
Oh man, yeah. It's been a while since I walked through this, so I think I forgot the solution there. But I first of all I want to stress that indeed, like understanding the system is like the essential first step for threat modeling, for privacy and for security, because the better you understand what you're working on, the more fine-grained, the more complete your analysis will be. So that's kind of also what we're looking here for. So we have an understanding of what's going on there, but the question is, do we know enough to actually decide on what the problems can be? Maybe you can also guide us through a couple of things here to give us a hint.
Yeah. So like actually the hint is in the question itself. So basically this was Kim suggested the idea like, let's provide the information but not make it the complete information. So in order to solve this puzzle, actually you need to request more information, because yeah, we know the intro and exit points to the venue, but we don't know anything about like which one is the most risky, what are the defenses which each of them. So the correct answer is actually request additional information to proceed to the next level without typos, of course. And yeah, well done, 25 experience points in the bank. So this one is a follow-up to that actually. And now we requested more information, and the security company actually provided us with what are the defensive mechanisms that protects each of the entry points. And basically we can see that the main gate can be approached, but there are armed guards, CCTVs, and automated turrets. So the automated turret could be like the real scary part for an attacker. Here we see that there's only CCTV surveillance on the rooftop vents. So yeah, this actually seems like the weakest entry point. And basically the question asks us, let me, yeah. So basically it asks us like, which is the most vulnerable one? And if we say rooftop vents, then it would be the correct answer. Kim, I didn't let you speak at all at this point.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's your quest. I'm just here for the support.
That was a follow-up, so that's why I just like rushed through it. But now we're going to speak about threat actors. Perhaps before starting, you could just like give a couple sentences about like what to understand about threat actors.
Yeah. So there's a double thing here. First of all, I love this quest because I think you nailed it in, this is the one with the BIOS, right? I think you did a perfect job there. So it's always interesting to know who your opponents are. So that's what this quest is about, that you really understand the attackers. I need to give a side note here that in real life, you actually typically don't know your attackers. So in that case, it's always interesting to use all the information you can have, but not just only focus on what you know about the attackers, but focus on the system, first of all, and see where the vulnerabilities are, and then use the attacker information, for instance, to assess the risk or to do something. That being said, again, look at how awesome this looks. And in the case when you have actually a great understanding of your actors, then I think that's the way to go forward. So basically, we have a number of descriptions here that describe all of their skills, all of their like goals, interests, and that will help you decide who is the most likely to abuse your system, or in this case, well, break into your venue.
Thank you so much, Kim. That was amazing. And yeah, I had really fun creating these. And I'm sharing my screen, so I couldn't see who's talking, but yeah, I think now it's on mute. And basically this question is, all right, in the previous one, we have detected that rooftop vents was the weakest, and it was only protected by CCTVs, right? So basically the evidence provides you these attacker profiles, like a case file, think of them, and each of them has their backgrounds, their motivations. So there are some who can be can break into the venue, but they have no motivation. So like you need to deduce those. And also, as CCTV cameras were the defense system on that particular rooftop, we need to go and check out for an attacker who's good with like manipulating CCTV systems. And I'm just gonna like speed things up. So like the Shadow Strike, the Elias Shadow Strike attacker profile has like skills and capabilities, which says like she's a master of armed assault and covert operations, skilled in blending into crowds and bypassing security checkpoints, manipulating CCTV systems, and hacking optic cybernetics. So I think, yeah, we found our suspect. So if we go and like the Shadow Strike is the attacker name. So basically the question asks us who is the most likely attacker to successfully penetrate. So if we go and write Shadow Strike, then all right. Any questions? Feel free, everyone, to just like, yeah, jump in and like write through the chat.
Yes, hey Mert, this is Swati.
Hello, Swati. I didn't, yeah, you were here, but
I just stopped by to say hi to Kim, and I just wanted to introduce myself to Kim.
It's a pleasure seeing you here. And yeah, like two veteran privacy engineers are here at the same call. So this makes, I think this particular event even more valuable for me. And actually, Kim, Swati, and I are doing an AI governance quest together.
Oh, that's really cool.
And now it's turning into like a seasonal quest where we like release each week new puzzles. And last week we did a data mapping with her. And yeah, thank you so much, Swati, for being here. And so far, how does the quest look? Did you like the threat modeling quest and puzzles so far?
Yes, it's really interesting, and I greatly appreciate your work, Kim, on the privacy threat modeling, and I follow your content on LinkedIn as well. So I just wanted to like stop by
Oh,
and say
thank you.
hello and introduce myself.
You had a presentation, well, a chat last week here, right?
Yes,
Yep.
the data
Yeah, I
mapping.
saw it in my mailbox and I was thinking that looks so interesting, but I couldn't join. But apparently everything is recorded, so I'm so excited that I will get to listen
Yeah.
to that one.
Mhm. Okay, all right. I'll let you take over, Mert. Sorry for the interruption.
Thank you, Swati. Thank you so much. And I'm going to share my screen again. And our next puzzle is about attack trees. Here, the security company asks us to, all right, now we know who can attack us, but what could be the ways that she could infiltrate our venue and assassinate or kidnap Gaia, whatever her intention is, shadow strikes. So basically, the security company has also have already created this attack tree where shadow strike could follow these steps in order to break through the defenses. And our job is actually understanding what Kim mentioned in the first part of our session. She said like we were inspired by the Stride threat modeling framework. So now this question is asking us, what type of attack does drone swarming the landing zone is with regard to the Stride threat modeling framework? So Kim, would you like to say a couple of things?
Well, it will be denial of service probably according
Yep,
to the structure here. Yeah, maybe just a bit of a background on Stride. Stride is actually an acronym for spoofing, tampering, repudiation, information disclosure, denial of service, and elevation of privilege. So you can use it as a mnemonic to structure your threat modeling exercise, to structure your thinking. LINDDUN is also an acronym. I will not go through all those categories either because then time is up. But so basically, it's in essence a mnemonic, but there's a lot of knowledge in the back that you can use to help you reason about all the things that can go wrong from a security perspective for Stride and from a privacy perspective for LINDDUN.
Thank you so much, Kim.
I'm sorry for taking over. Go ahead. Back to the
No. I just wanted this, and you did it perfectly. Thank you so much. Our next puzzle is about risk mitigation. All right, now we know who can attack us, what our weakest links in the chain are, and now it's time to, all right, how do we prepare ourselves for this? And it's the mitigation part. This is a really long puzzle, so I'm just gonna skip this one, Kim, if it's okay for you. But basically, this puzzle requires you to, based on the attack tree that was just provided to you as the evidence, you need to figure out, based on your budget, which defense mechanisms is the most budget-friendly one. That's like you have a limited budget and you need to make like a prioritize where you're gonna spend your resources. And yeah, for those who want to solve this, please do after the session. I'm just gonna go index. And now we chose our defenses and we supported what was missing. So we put on the rooftops armed guards to protect the venue and turrets to keep drone swarms from attacks. And basically now there's this concept called residual, I don't know, residual risk. And yes. Kim actually proposed this. So Kim, would you like to say a couple words about like,
yes, sure. So you identify problems, threats, you think of solutions, but typically those solutions will only reduce the risk and not completely remediate it. So there's always this residual risk, or if you make changes to the system or new threats arise, context changes, there will still be some residual risk left. That's also why threat modeling is not like a one and done kind of activity, but you basically need to do it again and again at regular basis to make sure that that residual risk, that updates, changes, will be tackled and your assumptions remain correct and all those kind of things. So yes, in this, well, I will give it back to you now because I don't know exactly what the residual risk here was, but that was indeed the train of thought behind this this quest to think about these things and not consider it to be completely resolved by thinking of solutions.
Thank you so much, Kim. And I think, yeah, that sums it up perfectly. And in the story, so there's this like an alliance formed between the attackers, which your attack tree and threat modeling didn't really foresaw. And that's why they collaborated, two attackers, and they break through the defenses. And there was like a havoc within the event. So it's all turned into chaos. And we'll see if Gaia has survived or not. So I'm just going to skip through it. And in the meantime, on the chat, Abigail wrote that she wants to write something on Forbes. And while you were explaining, I was reading that and like I had goosebumps. So Abigail, please let me know what you need. I will be honored. Yeah. So I'm just gonna. You already have my email.
This definitely deserves an article. Yes.
Thank you so much, Kim. Like, anyway, so our next in line is privacy risks and harms. So now we're getting more into the LINDDUN space and like what privacy threat modeling is. Now that we already talked about what threat modeling in general, like stride in security, LINDDUN is what we're going at after this puzzle. But now it introduces us to what are the privacy risks and harms that we want to protect against. So it lays the foundation on that aspect. And here there's this like a cybernetics shop where people get implants and really sensitive information is being shared and like human brain, computer interfaces are being done. So there are sensitive information which shouldn't be shared with everyone. But our evidence shows that this Reaper doc, let's call it, is sharing information, leaking information to certain third parties, which you should, based on the contextual integrity framework, realize which would be against the expectations of those cybernetic patients' medical data to be shared with. So that puzzle is all about that. And I'm just going to skip through it in order to manage time accordingly. And there's also the second puzzle of this. And here we gave this like newspaper snippet. And basically, after the event, like more whistleblowers around cybernetics rights are being kidnapped or like MIA, etc. So this news article is actually is about there's this megacorp in our story and lore, and one of their employees has realized that something is not going right and decides to blow the whistle on it. But as there's no whistleblowing platform or any technical or organizational measures, their identity gets exposed, and they were they went through.
Hi.
Mute someone, right?
How are you feeling?
Sefas, I'm so sorry, but
Yes,
I'm
I'm sensing some privacy issues here otherwise.
And we acted swiftly, I suppose.
Okay, perfect.
And during workplace discrimination against cybernetics, a relentless 24-hour interrogation, coercive resignation, and a subsequent disappearance, the whistleblower's plight has sparked a citywide call for justice, etc. So this whistleblower went through all these, and again, based on the privacy harms, based on Solos taxonomy, now you are required to, based on the evidence, figure out which of these privacy harms have come to realization on this particular news article. And
again, shout out to the graphics and to making this, yeah.
Thank you so much.
It really helps with the experience.
It makes it a lot more immersive. Like this is the last of the puzzle, and I think we're using time decent enough. And now Gaia has survived the event, and due to news articles that whistleblowers are going missing, etc., she decides to build this whistleblowing open source platform. And basically, I benchmarked an open source, a real life open source whistleblowing tool called, Kim, was it Secure Drop?
Secure Drop? Yeah.
Secure Drop, and one more which you mentioned that they had was again open source, and yeah. Anyways, so like again, I tried to replicate a real life scenario here with a how a whistleblowing platform really works. And this data flow basically, again, is provided by the security company to the players as an evidence. And now it requires our use of the LINDDUN framework, where I'm really looking forward for Kim to take the wheel from here. And basically, we have already got some of the threats based on LINDDUN, but there's one missing. And Kim, can you just like walk us through what the LINDDUN is standing for? And yeah.
Sure. If we still have time, yes?
Yeah, please.
So LINDDUN is an acronym for linking, identifying, non-repudiation, detecting, disclosure of information, unawareness, and non-compliance. So the first 4 or 5 are like core privacy categories or threat categories. Then we have unawareness and non-compliance, which are kind of the soft ones. I call them because they more refer to data subject rights and data processing principles. And actually, in the latest release of LINDDUN, we switched a bit the meaning of disclosure of information, where it used to refer to confidentiality of security. Now it mainly refers to minimality. So it's recently, half a year ago, it changed more to focus on, are you sure you didn't share too much information, sorry, it's getting late here, disclose too much information, collect too much information to specific types for a too long of a time period, so those kind of things. Let me see here. So an interesting one is non-repudiation, because that's actually a property from a security perspective, but can be a threat from a privacy perspective. Because from a security perspective, you typically want to have like strong evidence that somebody used your system or inputted something. From a privacy perspective, especially in this kind of whistleblowing system, you actually want to have plausible deniability. You want to be able, as a whistleblower, to say, well, no, it wasn't me. I have nothing to do with this. So that's why, well, I like this example, because this is a great example of where that non-repudiation threat comes into the picture.
Non-repudiation. It's also even
yes,
later
it's a
here
difficult
in
word,
Istanbul.
right?
So yeah, we managed it in the first without any typos. Thank you so much, Kim. And I think this is the last one, and it's about, all right, now that we know again what the risks are based on the data flow diagram, and non-repudiation is something that we're looking to solve, what could be some of the privacy enabling technologies that we could use here? And again, like the answer is provided within the diagram itself. So Tor is used here to create this defense against like locating people's identities through like IP addresses, etc. So it's a good measure. It's not the whole holistic measure to solve all the things that the platform is solving, but it at least provides that safe in-transit encryption, in-transit privacy measures, let's call it. And the question, unfortunately, is depending on the answer on the weakness of the Tor. So now that we have found that non-repudiation is the privacy threat we need to defend against, and our mitigation strategy is onion routing, which Tor uses, but Tor has its own flaws as well. And basically this, the evidence is that you need to go to the Tor's documentation and figure out what is the name of the tag to signify a bad node on the network. And that's, I won't tell the answer, so let's keep it to the players. But again, like even using privacy enhancing technologies and like you're thinking you're solving problems, there could be flaws within how that is implemented, or like innate problems that the solution might have as well. Yeah. So Kim, would you like to add anything to this part?
Well, yeah, that ties back to the residual risk that we were talking about earlier, right? So mitigations can still have residual risk or can introduce new issues because, well, yeah, they change some parts of the architecture, for instance, and that might result in new issues. So that's why it's important to have that cycle and then continue until it's sufficient and then revisit it after a while. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm not going to put in the answer, but this was the last one. And at the end, we complete the quest. Hopefully, Gaia has a smile on her robotic face, however that works. And no more whistleblower identities are blown to the wind. And yeah, you get a fat bonus from the security company, and yeah, you await your next contract on the Privacy Quest universe, let's call it. So that completes our walkthrough. And thank you so much, Kim, for like, because I was going to do this walkthrough video alone, and like festival gave me the opportunity to have the best co-host I could ask for this quest.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here, and thank you everyone, especially the organization committee, again, Hansa, Mijit, Eray, and all those audience who around the world, like Sylvan is here from Germany, Sefas from Africa, Selin from Istanbul, Abigail, and John. I'm really looking forward to meeting you as well. And happy Data Privacy Day. Again, it was a mistake to, as per my end, to make it like a month-long thing, because it really takes its toll during our 5th week now. But yeah, like events like these and people like you really give all the fuel we need to make it more. So thank you so much for being here, and have a really nice day from Privacy Quest.
Yeah, and thank you again for this awesome platform. I think it looks amazing. The walkthrough just showed it. So looking forward to the new quests, like the AI stuff. I will definitely be checking that out.
I will let you know. And
all right.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.